Um, so this is just a quick update video on your responses, just so that I can like respond to your responses through this. So far, I'm just gonna jump into it. I haven't read through most of these responses, but I do see that there's 29 so far. Remember, your parents can respond to this. If there was somebody that was going to be present at your graduation that you for sure wanted their, like your grandparents, guardians, them to also fill this out, because their input is just as important as everybody else's, because they were going to be experiencing this moment too. So for the first question, when we asked about your thoughts with the virtual graduation, a lot of y'all just said no. A vast majority of y'all said that y'all hated it and it's not the ideal situation, and it's just, somebody just said disgusting. I don't know who said that, but yeah. I'm seeing a lot of I hate it, I don't like it, I'm not happy, and that's understandable, and that's what we're trying to work against right now. We're trying to figure out a way so that we can keep people happy but healthy. So let me just read a couple of these. So this is one that I just read that I agreed with y'all on this, but it says,
I honestly don't feel like it reflects all the hard work we did. I sacrificed my mental health to get to where I am now, and I can't even get a graduation. I put my name on this document because I really want you guys to see how much it affects us. All I'm asking for is one good goodbye. I get that you guys are put in a tough situation with COVID, but I just want to cross the stage and get my diploma. I'm the only child for the most part, and I probably won't ever get to experience this again. Thank you for listening to our responses.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I don't know about anybody else's mom, but my mom has been really upset with this because my grandmother never got to see my mother graduate, and now my mom's feeling the same effect because she probably won't be able to see me graduate. And I know that for a lot of the students that are going to TABS right now, we are first generation students, whether that be for first to go to college or first to finish high school and graduate. And it's a really sad position, and I understand where you're coming from when y'all say that, we have worked hard. I know y'all have worked hard these past 4 years, and like, it's just to see your work seemingly be like pushed on the back burner. It hurts, and I understand where you're coming from when y'all say all of this stuff. This person said, it's not the ideal graduation, but to ensure everyone's safety, it is best if you do it in a way than to spread the virus. And yes, this is a very big concern for a lot of our families, because they are possibly taking care of someone who has a compromised immune system, and attending something like this would be very, stressful on them to try and make sure that they don't get their loved ones sick. And so this is something that we are really going to be taking into consideration when coming to our final consensus on what we want to do as far as graduation, whether that be to push it back until this all calms down, or just to have a virtual graduation and go with the original plan. So while editing, I realized that I lost some of my footage that ties in the emails that I received from the superintendent talking about having a meeting on Monday, this coming Monday, to discuss other options and alternatives for the virtual graduation, and it kind of led off of all those previous comments and concerns. So I'm just gonna show the next clip here, which will start off explaining the email and like showing y'all the email itself. So to explain the email, because I feel like y'all should know, the email with Mr. Kent Scribner talked about having a meeting with us on Monday, like I mentioned in the previous video, and it says, and that's like really important to keep in mind, because let's be honest, this isn't our district's fault entirely. The government is being very strict with it, and Fort Worth ISD is just being very safe with it. And so that is another thing to keep in mind whenever you are, thinking on this. This was the 3 options. So the 3 options that we gave y'all on here are the options that Scrivener wants to discuss with us. So we're basically using this as a like guideline for which option we should. So when the presidents got together, we talked with each other. We had 2 meetings, 3 so far over Zoom, talking about which options we would like to go with, and we were trying to see if we agreed on one option or if we would have to represent our schools and basically debate against each other. But we mostly all think the same. But the thing is about the options and picking one is that we're assuming that whichever option is the most unanimous vote is the option that's going to be in place for all of the schools across the district. Not, like, Tabs wants option 3, but Heights wants option 1, and Pascal wants option 2. Like, it's not going to be like that. It's just going to be like, okay, at 15 out of 20, one of y'all said option 2, so that's what we're going with. It'd be like that. But that's just what we're assuming right now. I'll give y'all more information on that after the meeting on Monday. So I'm just gonna read this really. So there are 2 very big paragraphs in here, and somebody said coronavirus got me up. Yes. So 2 of the big. I'm gonna just read the 2 big paragraphs. Actually, I'm not gonna read them. I'm just gonna post a screenshot of it so you can read it. So this first screenshot talking about looking at what other school districts are doing. Yes, that is a big factor that I'm going to try and bring up, because like I said earlier, other school districts are doing other things to, bring a in-person, ceremony into practice, So I will bring that up and, bring up the option of at least just letting the students have their moment. So this screenshot, I think I will try and directly mention or show it during the meeting, because it is in fact addressing like Fort Worth ISD, like the district. But somebody mentioned that we should see if, because there are other districts that are not Fort Worth ISD that are coming in and using Fort Worth ISD stadiums and stuff. Like, I don't remember what district it is, but I think they're going to be using the Dickies Arena. And if we could get either a donation from the Dickies Arena or like another place to like allow us to host our graduation there, that would be great. But it's very optimistic. Crowley ISD, Burleson, Everman, all of those places are still trying to do some kind of in-person graduation. I know that I don't remember which district it is, but one of them is going to have their graduation at Texas Motor Speedway. And something that another president brought up was the fact that Fort Worth ISD is, when compared to other districts, we are technically like poorer than the other districts, so it's a lot harder for us to get big venues like that would be able to distance us, and our families and stuff. So with the limiting, so this one is talking about allowing a max of 5 guests per family. Yes, that is another option, but I feel like 5 guests is in fact pushing it. I think that if they do allow us to invite family, then it'd probably only be 2 tickets per person, just because it would keep the maximum occupancy for that area at a minimum, just to limit, contact between people. Will you participate in the virtual graduation currently proposed by Fort Worth ISD? It's mostly between no and maybe, with 6.9% of y'all saying yes. So that is a very large gap. It kind of looks like what Heights looked like. Their percentages were about the same as ours, but it was more no than maybes, and then 2% yes. So I'm seeing that if it's a pattern, across the schools. Does your family have access to, this is a big factor in the live streaming and that one option 2, I believe. Does your family have access to home Wi-Fi or cellular data that would allow you to participate in this virtual graduation? So I'm going to go into more detail on this. With an overwhelmingly large percentage would you participate in a secondary graduation? 86.2% of y'all said yes. That was a very big gap between y'all and this question was, would you participate in a graduation ceremony that would allow you to walk the stage but not have a family present? Ceremony would be broadcast virtually, so this would be the live stream option, and y'all are pretty even on that. Again, this is why we are, giving y'all this poll, so we can get an insight into how y'all are feeling and, properly bring that, across to Scrivener and probably represent y'all in these ideas. So this video was just to show y'all some responses to your responses, basically. I do want to represent y'all well, and I do want your voices to be heard, so I'm going to try and sum up your responses, because there are some very similar responses that are following the same thought process, and I'm going to try and get those, I'm going to try and get those points across to Scrivener, and no shade, nothing to, Scrivener or Fort Worth ISD, but it does feel like they're not really taking us seriously, and I do want them to take us seriously, because this is our moment. This is a big milestone in our lives, and we've worked hard these past 4 years, and for us to just be basically brushed off and say, okay, virtual graduation, click here to turn your tassel, it just doesn't feel right, and it feels like not all of the options were discussed as lengthy as they could have been, because we've seen proof through other districts that in-person graduations could be a thing, and yeah, safety is the number one concern, but you can do these in-person graduations safely as long as you put the work in, the effort, the time. So yeah, so this was, I guess, update number 2 in this series. Again, thank y'all for submitting your responses, and we will be looking into them.